everyone, and welcome to another video on the channel. Today I am setting up for the month of December in my 2025 reading journal, and I cannot believe I am saying that we are at the end of this. This is the last theme of the year, and it's kind of bittersweet because this year has been really fun and the year-long theme is finally coming to a close, and I'm really glad that this is the theme that we're ending on. So if you're new here, for the whole year I have been documenting our findings on our trip that we took in 2024, where I did another year-long theme of taking you to 12 different fantasy destinations. And for the month of December, or chapter 12, we're looking at knights. So in a few of the books we had a few different kinds of knights. Obviously they would have different terminology in some fantasy novels, but I can think of at least 5 books that had a knight or some armor in it, that meant that the person was going to be armed and fight. So it made sense to have knights. And also it kind of coincides with our book club read. I belong to a book club that I actually co-host with a great friend of mine. It's called To Whatever End. It's a fantasy book club. And for the month of December, we are reading The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, which is Nightcore. So, of course, it times in perfectly with that. And because I was thinking about Lady Knights and everything like that, whilst there was technically there was only one Lady Knight in 2024, and that was when Elizabeth dresses up in armor in Sorcerer of Thorns. Yeah, because there was only one, I couldn't really lean heavily into it, but what I did do with this theme is choose a color palette that was a bit more on the softer side. So for the entire theme, there's generally only 2 colors that I've used, and that is this gold pen, and if you've been around long enough, you know this is my favorite Tombow gel brush pen color, 026, and I accented it with gray. So that is the color palette for the month, and I also paired it with one of my new paper packs, the Lane Mariposa, because it had this really pretty yellow floral theme in it, and I'm really into yellow at the moment. I'm not sure why, but I have done multiple yellow themes in my everyday journal, so I had to bring it in to my reading journal. It's one color that I hadn't really relied on, except for when we did crowns in February. I know I did metallics back then, so this would be the closest to that, but it was really nice to just sort of have a yellow moment, because it's not something I tend to go towards in my reading journals. So I'm really happy with how the theme came together. With the font is absolutely amazing. It just really screams the vibe that I was going for, and then all the lovely accents in yellow. I did again use Canva to create some stickers, so you'll get to see that, and I also included in some yellow florals, so very intentional that the yellow florals are here. It kind of makes me think of when I did florals with swords back in, I think it was May or April. So again, not entirely recycling ideas that I've had, but not straying away from them either. I also brought back these lace frames. I really wanted to enjoy these again. I did use them in October, a different color, however, and I really liked it. So the last month of the year, I decided to just enjoy myself, bring back things that I enjoyed setting up throughout the year, and just put this final theme into place in the journal. It's absolutely wild to me that we are at the end of 2025 very soon. How are we this close to the end of the year? It's absolutely bizarre to me, but it's been a very up and down year for me, but for reading wise and also journaling, it's been a really great time, and I've thoroughly enjoyed myself and sharing the highs and lows and the mistakes and the ways to fix them throughout the year. So for those who have been following every single theme this year, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me for another whole year-long theme. It's been fun. Next year, however, I won't be doing a cohesive year-long theme. So it's nice to be able to just have a little bit more time with something that's so ingrained and into me, like doing the chapters, finding the reference point. Like this has just become second nature for me. So this one final time setting up a monthly theme in this journal was really like a good time, but also, like I said before, quite bittersweet. So the title page is now done, and I did end up losing some footage. So for the rest of the pages, I already coloured in the headers off camera to save time. It was probably the most time-consuming part of this theme, which was quite good. However, there are some sort of shortcuts that were made. I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, it did take a long time. It gets very repetitive. My head got in the way because I was trying to get up close and personal with these like smaller headers now that they're not as big as the one on the title page. So for everyone's sake and the fact that my hair was absolutely wild on this particular day, let's just focus on the headers being done without you guys having to watch them too much. So if you're new here, the monthly theme is a place where I use a calendar grid for marking down the days that I read as a visual. I really enjoy this. It's something that I've spent a lot of time over this year really trying to perfect and find what I enjoy the most. And I'm really looking forward to bringing this into 2026. I will be leaving the calendar the same size. It's really at this point in time where I start to look at what's been working, what hasn't been working, what I would like to carry over into a new year. So of course, I'm going to mention that in this video here and there. But this page is definitely a staple and will be staying pretty much the same in 2026. I am bringing in that Mariposa paper pack there with that beautiful yellow florals, and then I did have this very small amount of this gold washi tape left that I decided that really needed to be used. So here I am trying to fit it to the page. I even had to use some double-sided tape just to get that to stick down since it was coming right off the roll. And to fill in that gap down there, I put an extra piece of paper. And here is where the fun sets in, and I get to decorate with all the things that I have found. Now, I did mention in a previous video that for people who use Pinterest to print out photos or do whatever you want, and in particular for me, I've been using it for the last 2 years for these themes, and there was the whole debate around how much AI is on there, and then I mentioned recently that you could turn that off. Well, I tried to go to Pinterest very excitedly to get photos for this final theme, and unfortunately the 6 photos that I picked, 5 of them, or was it 4 of them, either one, had definite AI. And only one was marked as AI modified. So don't jump for joy if you're a Pinterest user. And I did end up going to another stock image page. I think it was called Unsplash, and there was also another one called Pixels. I will link them below. I also used a lot of imagery from Canva and checked through to make sure that it wasn't AI modified or anything like that. It's really hard to tell, and I would really like if Canva could make it easier for us who want to avoid AI as much as possible, especially who are paying for the service, to have a way to toggle what is made by AI and what isn't off. So that's my gripe. Thank God for next year's theme. I am not using any stock images in my setups. We're going back to old school. I'm going to be attempting to draw, and by that I mean trace, and use other imagery and decoration tools to do my themes for 2026, because I'm really tired of having to try and figure whether or not something's AI. Is getting a little bit too hard to tell, and I'd rather steer towards the edge of staying away from AI as much as possible. yeah, that's my little spiel about AI. We're now already moving on to the next 2 pages. Now, I will admit that this looks a little bit weird. In my head, it made sense. However, we've got Clear Your Shit Readathon Part 2 because this is a 2-month readathon, so I brought it back for December. I'm not participating in Reindeer Readathon like usual. I just decided to do the one, carry it on, and then bring back my TBR vending machine game for the final round for the year. However, I put the headers too close, so now it reads Clear Your Shit Quotes instead of Clear Your Shit Readathon. I kind of wish I'd put Readathon underneath the top header instead of down the bottom. It is what it is. I know what it means. It just looks weird when you look at the 2-page spread together. Such a small thing. I'm not going to let it bother me. But here is where I started to add in some of the stickers that I made. I just used some washi tape sticker paper that I have, and printed it out and then fussy cut it around everything so it would be easy to put down. And I'm really, really happy with the florals with some of the other decorations. I think it looks really, really pretty. Yeah, like I said, yellow is not something that I tend to put in my reading journal. It's never really been a colour that I've gravitated towards in here. I don't think I did anything with yellow last year, so I really wanted to give it its moment. And I'm really happy that I chose it for December. It's such a nice colour, especially since I live in New Zealand, and for many people who are going into December and it's cold and it's snowing and you have your winter, we are in summer very soon. We're already having summer temps. It is hot, it is annoying, so I guess the yellow is really pretty for right now because it kind of reminds me of the blaring sun that we're going to be enduring over December, so it's kind of fitting that way. I decided to bring back some more of the yellow lace tape along the top here, and I did end up using some more of this silver washi tape on the monthly view. I felt like it needed some more work. Unfortunately, I couldn't pull up the sword sticker that I stuck down there, and I did do this off camera. So you'll see in the final flip through what ended up happening to that page. I'm not exactly a huge fan of it, but I wanted to bring in some more of that washi tape and incorporate it, and had I been able to bring up the sword, it would have worked. But it is what it is, and it filled in a bit more of the white space. I have been over on Instagram doing a sort of flip through of my 2024 reading journal and showing the themes that I liked and didn't like, and I'm going to do that here for you guys on this particular journal. But I admit that it kind of got me thinking, like a lot of my themes last year, there was a lot of white space. Granted, for some of it, I didn't have time to fill it in. Most of you who've been around for a while now know my mum got very ill last year. She had her leg amputated and then unfortunately passed away in December. So a lot of that white space did come down to the fact that I did not have time to fill in what I had set up. But looking at this journal too, I was like, oh my God, is there too much white space now? I think I'm going to become a little bit of a maximalist with my setups, or at least a lot of layering is going to come into the future. I don't know why, but seeing so much white space makes me feel uncomfortable, like I haven't done enough decoration. And I definitely have noticed that over this year, that I started out very quite plain, and I've moved into putting more decoration and layering things as I've gotten more confident with it. So it's all been like a little process, and I'm really happy with how that's working out. So the page that we've just finished beforehand was what I call my functional page, and that's where I just store my TBR and just track down books that I'm reading, and or like reading from the library or getting in, that kind of thing. It's just a very straightforward tracking page, and we're on to our final page. And I did say that I was going to tell you where there was like these little cheats, I guess, as you could call it. And I've gone completely past that page because I was ranting about AI. But basically, the reason why this setup is a little bit shorter than usual is because for the Clear Your Shit Readathon, I don't know how many prompts I'm going to have finished in November, and the ones that I haven't completed, I will take over into December. So it didn't feel right to set up an entire page on that and then have to change it again. So I figured that I would just wait until December hits and set that up. And then you'll get to see that in the December wrap up. So that was my long-winded way of saying that's how I save time. We're on to the final page. As I said, this is the reading log. I tracked 12 books on this page. I am hoping to get my reading challenge done by December. As I'm recording this, I have read 136 books and my goal is 150. So I am confident that I will reach it. Just don't know when that will be and how many books I will either go over by or just come in really close by. We'll have to see. I have set up a second page for my reading log in November because I know that I'm going to go over 12. So I think it's going to be really close. The final elements of this page are pretty much the same every time. They are the spaces that with the highlighted sections are just for tracking. I always track author, series, page count, dates read, format, and genre on those little bars, which I'm going to fill in now and save you all the time of watching. And there's a sticker on my wrist of me filling that in because my hand always cramps doing this. It's such a big job to do. And we're at the final point of this video, but I've realized that I haven't come through and stamped the 5-star stamps on. So that is something that I have to film, or will do off camera now, but we're at the final flip through. So that's really interesting. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today with the final theme of 2025. I hope you enjoy it. And until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading and journaling. And I'll see you in another video very soon. And I'll go and fix that reading log page right now. Bye everyone.